Alright, so viewers, fans, subscribers, and anime fans, all the same out there, I want you to welcome to the next episode here of the Space Bridge, the podcast here, the official podcast for the Iacon Battle Circuit. So the next guest here is going to help me in understanding the new territory and terrain there is in the Bleach community for the Bleach fighting game, the Rebirth of Souls, and going into a lot of the norms and stuff I wanted to talk about in regards to the stability of the scene or opportunity, general activity, the target demographic, the game's sandbox, maybe smoothness of mechanics, how rank works, the differentiation of tourneys between PlayStation and PC, or even between NA and EU. Maybe even just how general communication and transparency are with the product and the community, right? So I want to introduce you guys to Entity Sama. Lord Entity Sama, or Entity Reaper.
Oh,
Alright, pleasure having you on board here, and thank you for being a guest here today. I appreciate it.
no problem.
How you been today?
Good. How are you?
I've been good. Alright, are you ready to hop on into it?
Yep.
Alright. So, to start us off, what was your introduction into the Bleach community?
Alright, so originally I started Bleach like a year or so ago, but I had dropped it because there was a bunch of like other stuff I was watching at the time. Then the game had got announced, so it gave me a reason to resume the anime. Then when the game had came out is when I had joined the community on Twitter and haven't had any negative interactions, so decided to stick around.
What were your thoughts on the game when it was first announced? When it went from like a whole different type of arena fighter style game to like a really beautiful competitive presentation is what we got.
So initially when the announcement trailer had came out, I was excited. Then I saw like a little bit of gameplay within that trailer and was like a little disappointed because in my head, like I said, that's all I seen, and it just looked like it was going to be another run of the mill arena fighter. Then the game actually, yeah, then the more and more gets revealed, the more and more the game started to capture my interest. And then when it came out, is when it really was like, yeah, like this game's worth it.
I'll tell you, man, and the visual presentation on this game is so beautiful. Like they really had enough time to let this thing cook.
Mm, I feel like that is the case. Like it is beautiful, but as for them having enough time to let it cook, I can't necessarily say so because you can tell that the game is unfortunately unfinished due to the fact that there are characters like the NPCs that you fight in the story mode. You could tell they were supposed to be playable, but the devs just didn't have enough time to finish it via them not being able to like polish up certain animations and things like that. But with the limited amount of time they were given, I still like how it came out.
Okay. Are you satisfied so far with the cast presentation and like all the characters that they chose for base roster?
For the most part, yeah, because every character pre Thousand Year Blood War that I wanted in the game is in there. The only character that I wished was base roster that isn't in the game is Yumi Chika, but like I said, the rest of my favorites are already in there, like Grimmjow, Toshiro, so on and so forth.
Okay. And for my sake, chat, I think I can also say the same thing. I was fairly satisfied with a lot of the roster presentation that they had in there for base, because Toshiro Hitsugai is in there, Soifon was in there, Yoriichi is in there, and Stark. So I mean, I got all the main ones in there that I really wanted to delve into. The only one that I was missing to complete that quartet for me was just Hiyori. but I can work with Shinji.
Yeah. Soifon was also a character that I was like really excited about when she had got announced because I remember I was watching the anime specifically with her fight against Yoruichi, and I was thinking like, yeah, I genuinely hope that she's in the game because she looked like she'd be fun as hell to play. And in the game, although I don't play her much, the small amount of times I do get my hands on her, she's actually pretty enjoyable.
Soifon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question. How welcoming do you think the current community is to new players?
So, in my personal opinion, I think it's very welcoming. Like, I haven't seen anybody like getting dogpiled on or uh, much of anything. The only time I have seen people like have a negative interaction is if they rage quit, which fair enough, because unfortunately the game doesn't reward the winner for rage quitting, which is something I knew was going to be the case when ranked was announced. Hence why, me personally, I don't think the game needed ranked, but hey, outside of that, like I said, the community all seems pretty fun, like pretty cool. Like I always see people like willing to give like tips and stuff like that. So the community's pretty welcoming.
Okay. For the most part, I think rank was just introduced for the natural competitive pivot that anime fighting games would have, especially those that are like arena, almost pseudo traditional style hybrids like this one. So
Mm,
it makes sense that there would be a competitive pivot for a sense of comfortability for those that are playing it, but they need to have an incentive in which to play it, which would then be the rank. It's just like that part right there. It doesn't really. It does like how old Tekken was, where it doesn't really reward the rage with T per se. It just you just kind of just deal with the one and dones or the quitters when the matches get too in depth.
exactly, and that was like I'm not gonna lie, Tekken was the like main reason why I was like I know rage quitters are not gonna get punished no matter how much the devs say they're gonna do it, and the winner's definitely not gonna get rewarded. So at the end of the day, the same issues with ranked and Tekken are just gonna carry on right over to Bleach, and it seems that when it comes to rage quitters in Bleach, it's a lot more common for some reason. I mean, I can somewhat understand because the stock system and there are like just characters that are just flat out obnoxious to go against, like Ryu, Dangai, Stark, so on and so forth. But hey, and on top of that, the game doesn't punish you for rage quitting, so like what reason do you really have to just like stick to the match? Like you're not gonna get punished for it regardless. But honestly, I feel like them changing ranked to where you don't lose points would be more than enough for people not to. Well, you think, but that doesn't really change anything. Rage quitters are still going to exist. It just comes with ranked. And like I said, the only issue is the fact that the game doesn't reward the winner. Because if they did that, I don't think anybody would really be complaining about rage quitters.
Even after Yahabuk's update, how common is the rage quitter aspect?
Um, at least like when I play, because I play on Xbox, I've rarely ran into rage quitters. The only time, like, I can only say that I've run into two, which was funny enough, a Yuha player, and the first one was an Izuru player, which was around the time Ranked had just came out. So rage quitters, uh, I feel like if you'd have to have somebody who like plays online a lot more often.
Next question. Um, in that same regard, are there any noticeable communities, subcultures, or stereotypes that formed or that are forming in the Bleach community?
Not really that I know of. Like honestly, when I every time I'm on Twitter and I go into the community page or like anytime I look up anything like regarding the game, it's pretty much just the wider community. Like most people just play on ranked or just play just casually. Not really anything that it's not really a subsection that I've seen. I mean, unless you want to count people who are like heavy into like just finding combos, which then I would also fall into that subsection because if you go through my post in the Bleach community, for the most part, it's just me finding TODs, and I've only seen like two or three other people like actually just post combos exclusively. But outside of that, I don't really think there is much. And the reason why I don't think there's like that many subsections is because there's not much game modes in the actual game. Like I don't ever see anybody posting guides for like mission modes or like how to beat bosses like easier within the story mode. Is kind of everybody just like either post rage quitters, combos, so on and so forth. Not really like a part of the community that's just dedicated to a certain game mode for the most part.
I came across one of your tweets here just now for what you're doing with old man Yamamoto.
Yeah. the Honestly, the Yamamoto TOD was probably one of the most on the difficult side because you have to be like in his fire gauge. So if you mess up that one, then it's pretty much GG's.
Damn,
Yeah.
this shit looks clean though.
I
Like I'm
think
also curious the practicality of it.
yeah, I think I'd figured it out on my third or fourth try because I'd learned, yeah, so I got the fire gauge max because obviously he does more damage. But what I didn't know is that he actually has like moves exclusive to that fire gauge because I don't play him much. I was just messing around, seeing what I could do with him. And then I found that out, and I'm like, oh shit, I could probably hit a TOD with this. Then, as for my Kenpachi TOD, one of my friends who had got into the game like 2 weeks ago, he had kept mentioning that Kenpachi had one. So my thought process behind that one was just okay. Well, like he keeps talking about Kenpachi having a TLD. I guess I'll just figure it out. So the Kenpachi one was the one. It was probably on the easier side, but it definitely looks like it'd be more difficult because the combo timer like starts dropping drastically, and it looks like you're gonna drop it almost every hit, which I thought was the fun part about finding out that TOD.
Okay. Oh Noah, that's a good question. We'll go over. I'll be sure to ask that once we finish with the general Q&A. I will also pop that in there. I'll also pop that in there since we do have a question that someone did want to ask you. But I'll go over and I'll include this to the comment section Q&A once we finish up the base.
All right, cool.
Next question. How well do you think the game balances nostalgia for Bleach fans with modern gameplay expectations?
With modern gameplay expectations. So honestly, this is probably going to cost me any potential sponsors, but modern gameplay expectations have just like went so far down the drain over the years to the point where I don't think that it's very like difficult to wow anyone. But even if you were to have expectations of games for like from 5 years ago, which definitely does it well. And especially when it comes to the nostalgia department, which actually I think is very good that you asked me that because I have two videos on YouTube, one on Twitter because copyright. Where I'm comparing the moves in game to the anime, and a lot of the time they're like neck and neck, especially in the thousand, especially for Unohana because she has a parry in her Bankai, and it's actually like exact like ripped straight from the Thousand Year Blood War anime, which is something I genuinely appreciated. So I feel like the game definitely does well for nostalgia and fan service all around.
Let me see if I can find it. Where is it on your feed?
I think I have it pinned on my Twitter, the one that got copyrighted. Yeah, it's pinned on my Twitter.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah. Also have one in my YouTube channel with the Espada. I'm gonna link that one as well on Twitter.
Okay.
Jeez, if I can find. Okay, yeah, here it is. Funny enough, these videos actually did better than anything else I'd posted. So
You put a lot of time and care into creating them, so it makes sense that it really shows.
oh yeah, it literally took me all day to find these clips. The game definitely did a very good job in terms of nostalgia.
Okay. While we're going through next question.
What's up?
So while we're at the current patch here, before we get to Yahabot, I want to take us back to Ichibe's patch setting. And so I'm thinking back to Ultimate Burst, if you remember Ultimate Burst. So Ultimate Burst that passed last year was this game's premier pinnacle presentation for a tournament. This game came out that year, 2025, and it already got like a really great reception for the PvP and the casual scene both. And this was the European edition of Ultimate Burst. Ultimate Burst is a high-level arena fighter based presentation.
Yeah, the one that Globku makes.
Yeah, the one Globku makes.
I know.
Because it focuses for NA and EU. This year it was EU that put this game on the map, and so it was a really good cultural W in its own way. And so, in that regard, how do you think Ultimate Burst's presentation of diversity and ability both shaped the early Bleach landscape?
I think it helped because showcase like seeing a bunch of players who all play like different characters to a high level degree showcases that the game's not just like one of those cheap cash grab arena fighters where oh you just press the same thing and you get the same like amount of damage for a combo or like you do well just by pressing the same thing they're like this is one thing that I like the most about Bleach. You can't necessarily play each character the same. Like the same way you would do Bankai Ichigo's combo is completely different than you would do any other Ichigo's combo. And that goes for like literally every other character on the roster. So I'm personally a big fan of that. And like I said, I feel like it draws more eyes to the game because you get to see like this differences in playstyle and maybe people who are watching the game, yeah, watching the tournament, see gameplay and decide, oh, this looks fun. Maybe I'll pick up Mayuri or Kenpachi or Byakuya and, you know, either try to copy what they do or figure out something that's better than what they do.
Makes sense to me. Next question, as we delve further into the competitive aspect, is How would you describe the current skill curve? Like, is the meta already forming? Has it already formed? Or is it still evolving?
I think with each DLC character, it evolves. Like, as for now, we don't know if a season 2 is coming out. Hopefully it is. But if not, then yeah, I think the meta is just like, is what it is right now. But if they were to release a new character, like, say, next week or month, whenever that may be, then yeah, I'll say it involves for the simple fact that every DLC character, like every character plays differently, and a DLC character could easily beat a meta. Like for instance, when Unohana came out, she could take 7 stocks. She was definitely the meta at that point. Yuha Baha, if he's in a good player's hands, then you could argue that he's also very much so the meta as well.
Yeah, because he's like a pretty like advanced like level up character.
Exactly. Like he starts off like extremely bad, but eventually becomes extremely cracked,
All right.
which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of like how he plays. One of my friends, she was showing me that like the other like last week or something when she finally was able to get the DLC card. I'm looking at this, I'm just like, wait a minute, this feels like Yukiko from BB Tag and Adult Gohan and Fighters with the same type of concept and a similar type of like unique brokenness as we go further up the food chain on the level up process.
Exactly.
And then when I saw the level 9, I'm just like, oh hell no.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a live stream where I was playing against one of my friends, and like the day Yuha had came out, he didn't enjoy going against Yuha when I got to Almighty.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I had a blast though. But yeah, I think Yuha is a good character, but if you're new, then don't even consider looking at him when you're going into ranked. You're most likely gonna get cooked by anybody who knows what they're doing and knows what Yuha can do.
Next question as we continue further into the competitive aspect. Are there specific characters that feel overtuned or underpowered right now?
A char- Previously, before like Ichibe came out, I'd say Rukia, but I feel like they had made it to where she's at an enjoyable level. As honestly, there's not really like many characters that come to mind. Like I don't think there's really any character that I can say is weak or needs to be buffed. They all seem pretty well made in their own way.
So you would argue that at the moment it is adequately balanced.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's obviously characters like more broken than others, but I don't think there's anybody who I could say is like trash.
Okay. Next question. What kind of skills or play styles does the game reward most? Like, does it reward timing? Does it reward prediction? Or maybe reflexes? Matchup composition? Spacing? Or possibly like blunt zoning?
Um, honestly, I think all of them besides blink zoning because sure, zoning it is a way, yeah, to a certain degree it can carry you, but if someone perfect flash steps you, especially if they're using a character with a lot of damage like Toshiro, then you're fucked. Or like if you're going up against Aizen and you're just zoning, he just uses his signature move and he just gradually builds up that meter, then flash steps and then huddle number 90, then you're fucked. So honestly, for zoning, it depends on who you're going against. As for timing, I think that definitely helps with any character you play. Like as soon as you like, yeah, if you get a good sidestep in, then yeah, it's worthwhile. Or like if somebody just does their little flash attack and your quick attack beats them out after you block, then yeah, like I think all playstyles certainly benefit. Besides like a hyper aggressive one, like if you just go in and like keep trying to mash buttons or like run and grab consistently against somebody who knows how to play the game, then yeah, I don't think it's really going to benefit you all that much.
Okay, so different rewards for different play styles that not
Yeah,
necessarily like are rampant, but
exactly. Mhm.
okay. Oh, I got you, Noah. The beauty of the multitask. Next question. How much does player knowledge of the Bleach universe influence its competitive success here?
Mm, I'd say I wouldn't say like your knowledge of the universe is completely futile. Like there's characters that are definitely like lore accurate, but to a highlight to the highest degree. Like for instance, Noichura, he's clearly not the strongest Espada, but in game he's definitely one of the most broken. Like he has hyper armor on almost all of his moves, has one of if not the highest health bar in the game, and does a ridiculous amount of damage. And as for Aizen, this statement's probably gonna get me the most hate, but I don't think he's as broken. Like I don't really think he's that broken, especially compared to how he is in the show, because you can still beat the character. Although a good Aizen player will definitely give you a run for your money, it's not like someone who just started the game is gonna beat you just because they're Aizen. So to a certain extent, there are carry characters due to lore accuracy, but they're not complete carry, if that makes sense. Like skill is still required to win the match.
Okay. How does Aizen play in Rebirth of Soul?
He basically plays similar to how he is in the lore, like very patience heavy. Like for instance, if you get his reverse gauge to max the first time and he's in his cocoon form, he's not all that good. I think his tilt flash attack is hype armor. Don't count me on that. But when he evolves into his yeah almost complete form, then yeah he's pretty good. As for in his reawakening, he's just fucking broken. So I'd say it's pretty lore accurate, but like I said, he's still beatable.
Like, is it possible to cut off his resources or limit or mitigate him?
Yeah, his reawakening, as long as you don't get his evolution gauge to full after he evolves past the cocoon stage, then yeah, you should be fine. He's like one of those characters you have to take care of fast because remember if he knew yeah what this is universal if you neutral reverse gauge, then you get the white meter and it also starts to evolve your evolution gauge. So if you just like nip it in the bud ASAP, then you should be good.
Damn. In theory, that sounds pretty straightforward, but then you still got to play and win the neutral game with him in order to shut him down before he gets that momentum going.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that takes experience in the either neutral or experience in the matchup to stop the matchup from being a problem.
Yep.
Uh,
But
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done against somebody who actually plays Aizen. Aizen mains who've been playing him since the very beginning of the game all the way up until now.
Oh, then they already know the business.
Yep.
Let's see. Next, let's delve into the content creators and influencers aspect. Next question. Do you see long-term community growth potential with this scene? Like, do you see more tournaments arising, or do you see collaborations, or do you see like more unique streaming moments that can be collectively revered or spoken about?
So I will say yes and no. Yes, because on one part it does like it is definitely like on the community to like do yeah to put out the good word, try to bring new players in, but like at the same time the community can only do so much. So if the game like continuously like gets support and like more characters, or if they start adding new moves, then yeah, because then more flashy combos will come out and people are gonna see that and most likely want to get into the game. Like I'd give yeah, one of my friends is getting the game eventually, and he was watching me stream with another one of my friends, Bleach. He was saying like, "Oh, the game looks cool as hell." Like, even though he hasn't even watched the show, he's still considering getting the game. So I feel like if the community like is given more to work with, then yeah, we could definitely grow the player base a lot more. So it honestly depends on the devs because I have a feeling the community is going to do all they can because you see on Twitter in the Bleach community, everyone there obviously loves the game and wants it to do as best as it possibly can. So I feel like the community is going to do everything we can with what we got, and at the end of the day, it depends on the devs to feed us more.
Okay. Do you feel like there's a split between PC and console Bleach community?
Zero doubt. Like honestly, I don't. I don't think the PC community like is really all that existing because I've seen like mods for the game only come out within like the first couple months. Like anytime I look up mods, I don't really see much of anything. And when I'm like in the when I'm in a Twitter community, I don't really see any PC players. So I don't really think PC has much of a strong community. And on top of that, their launch was terrible from what I heard. I don't know if it's gotten much or any better. So they're probably playing a different game than what we're getting on console.
Okay. Next question. What type of content tends to resonate most? Is it like guides or memes maybe? Discussions or lore breakdown?
I haven't seen any memes for the game. As for guides, I think they would. I think guides only really have a place if you have early access to the character. Because as soon as the DLC, like as soon as the character trailer comes out, those basically work as guides in of themselves because they tell you like they tell you what the move is, they show you what the move is, and they tell you everything about the move. So I don't think content creators are really going to be able to you know benefit from posting guides. As for lore breakdowns, I think that would definitely be the best because the game has the game like shows parts of the story that was never seen in an anime or manga that are canon to the source material, and lore related videos for any popular series is going to do well, no matter what. And with this game having actual Bleach lore in it, I definitely think that would be the best way to go about it.
Okay. Pivot question. Lore about the anime is also in the video game, or is there just
Yeah,
like lore exclusive stuff about Bleach just in the video game that doesn't correlate from the show per se?
like no, like lore from the anime slash manga is like actually in the game, although it doesn't like appear in the anime or manga. Like for instance, when it comes to Soyphone, yeah, when it comes to the deal that Soyphone had with one of the Visoreds where he would trap Kisuke for a month, that was shown in the game. They had talked about it during like in the manga and anime, but they never shown it up until the game. I believe it was in Soyphone's Secret Story.
Ooh, they want to go ahead and play the story.
Yeah, the Secret Stories, like they give a lot of backstories. Like they even show, for instance, in Toshiro's, they also show that Aizen and Rangiku had through Toshiro a little birthday celebration.
Hey yo, isn't being nice?
Yeah, it was all a part of his plan. So, and you know, all I'll say is play through the Secret Stories. It shows a lot of things that weren't in the anime or manga that are still canon.
Oh my gosh, okay, now I have to play it.
Yep.
Chat, you should too. Definitely check out the story for this. It's one of the best like presentations for an anime to game iteration where the story mode is all like to detail. It's the chef's kiss presentation. You're literally like playing through each episode as if we were watching the episodes again back on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I highly recommend playing through the story mode. It's like you said, like watching a show, but just without the filler. It's great. And there's also like funny moments that showcase like what the characters were doing in Soul Society after Ichigo went back to the world of the living.
That I would like to see. Because that is world building. That's taking a note from One Piece. You got resources in the background. They don't necessarily need the main character to do side character and alternate character interests.
Yep.
Next question. How does its combat depth compare to other games in the arena art style, like Naruto Storm or Demon Slayer, or even traditional, like full-on traditional, like Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball Fighters or Tekken, let's say, or Street Fighter?
When it comes to anime games, it blows like almost all of them out of the water. Like the depth in Bleach vastly, it the depth in Bleach like just outclasses Storm, Burning Blood, like so many arena fighters by a large margin. But when it comes to like actual like 3D fighting games like Tekken, so on and so forth, it's not that in depth because Tekken had like each character has over 100 fucking moves like that. Bleach has nowhere near that. But I will say the depth in the game is definitely there. Like it's a good amount of depth. Like I said, each character plays differently. There's like different ways you can play each character. It's great. Like when you really get into like when you really get deep into the game, you'll understand. Like there's a lot that goes into this game.
Okay. Next question, and this is where we go into the climax point. I will also go ahead and answer one of my friend's questions here real quick that did have something in chat. Noah's question was, how, it's a two-part question. How do you feel about the arena fighter scene as a whole? And have you ever had the chance to play a traditional fighting game?
So I come from like the traditional fighting game scene, and honestly, there's not many arena fighters that I can genuinely say I enjoy because I don't really like how basic a lot of them are. But when it comes to now, this is what really like got me into One's Justice because, like in Bleach, every character plays like completely different. Like that's why I love the My Hero arena fighters. Burning Blood, it's okay. I do like the hockey system in that game, like how there's characters who use hockey or like their devil fruit abilities, like when you press R1. But honestly, for the most part, I didn't like really like arena fighters. Like they're starting to grow on me like more recently, but there's still just arena fighters that I just like it can't get into. Like Demon Slayer, I played the first one, didn't like it. Jump Force, the only reason why I was playing that game is because there was characters that just like aren't in other games. Like for instance, Bleach didn't have a game up until last year. For a while at least. On modern consoles it didn't. But
Damn, I miss
uh,
Jump Force. That game had so much potential if all the IPs included either had their own game before that Shonen head honcho game tried to make a move, or if that game made a move as a regular fighting game and not as an arena fighters.
yeah.
It would have had a better chance to live.
Oh yeah, Jump Force definitely would have lived if it was like an original fighting game. But the thing is with that is there's so many like series that work completely different, and when you play their games, like these games are just like perfect for the series. Like for instance, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All Star Battle. That game is perfect for JoJo's. Like I don't think there's
Oh,
many
good
like
example.
others. Yeah, like I don't think there's many other series that are like okay, yeah, we could make a JoJo, like we could make a game out of this similar to that, or like for instance, same like Bleach, another great example. I don't really think there's much other series where you could make a game that plays like Bleach and then just have it work with another series. Although I would like to see them try. Like if there is a Jump Force 2, I would love to see it play like Bleach, just without the stocks, of course. But yeah, I feel like if they were to try to make like a Arc System Works type fighting game, it definitely would have done a hell of a lot better, but they would have to like give so many series like their own unique mechanics. So Jump Force was probably their safest route.
It was, so maybe it taking that huge loss in the arena fighter archetype was able to try and set up for better games to try and like carry that torch of creativity in each IP's own creative pool.
Exactly. Honestly, I would love to see the next Shonen Jump collab game be made by Arc System Works. Like that is a
I
non-negotiable
agree.
pre-order.
I
I'm
totally
just putting
agree.
that out.
I totally agree. Because Arxis,
Like
like, love them or hate them or both, you can't deny that they
adore him.
actually hit a pretty good presentation at base value for every anime related work they dropped.
Honestly, the only one of the only arena fighters I do like was also made by Arc System Works, Kill la Kill If. Honestly thought that
That
Bleach was
was a
gonna
good one.
play similar to that game. Just off of what we were saying.
You know, it's Mickey enough to work, but it's not overly unbalanced Mickey. Like, there's counterplay for everything if you are aware, and then there's also ways to optimize everything if you are aware or have the time to lab.
Mhm.
Whereas Kill la Kill is just like it took a long time before that game had a better balance patch in order to even everything out when it was already in like balls deep of niche.
Mhm.
So that made it a bit better or probably worlds better. I haven't played it in depthly like that. I have competed on it, but I haven't played it in depthly. But it made it better to where it was more applicable for the players that were already just diehard kill players. But it didn't. But it also didn't do it any favors by pulling it out of its niche, or pulling
Yeah,
it further out of no man's land where it was difficult to find this game. Where it's a game still where, like, if you know it exists, then you can try to find it. But if you don't know, you never will.
yeah. Honestly, I think that if Arc System Works were to make a collab game, I feel like they should probably start off with Studio Trigger's IPs. Because Kill la Kill If, like I said, I thought it was a very well made game. And I started watching Panty and Stalking, which is a hilarious anime, and I was thinking
Ooh, good
it would have
choice.
been yeah, I was thinking it would have been cool if Panty and Stalking were in Kill la Kill If. So maybe Access would make that happen. I doubt it, but it'd definitely be pretty cool to see that.
Next question. As we delve into the community meta and the future speculation aspect, speculation aspect, where do you see the game 6 months from now? Let's say, like, do you see like a thriving community? Do you see a niche fan base, or somewhere in between?
So it really depends on if there is continued support for the game. Like if the devs like add more characters, then yeah, the community is definitely going to be eating because the more characters, the more cool shit we see out of players who are top tier, and I feel like that definitely bring in a lot of new players. But if the devs just like cut it off at season one, there's no more characters, like no more costumes, or like there's no other game modes, then yeah, it'll be a done deal until Rebirth of Souls 2, which I hope isn't the case because I really do like this game, and as much as I would love to see a Rebirth 2, I don't think they should just make one season of DLC and then
And then
just
call it
like
there. Yeah, like,
okay,
there's so much more of a
exactly.
landscape you can build on, especially as a fighting game. If it was an arena, if it was just like a regular arena game that didn't have a direction for a pass and all this stuff, and you're just dropping it, and then characters are as they are, then
Yeah.
okay, you could do that, and then like what 1 or 2 years from now, then you would see the sequel come out, and then it would probably go over what Fullbringers and thousand. Well, there wouldn't even be a need for it at that point because you could just bring those characters in as DLC characters at that point because you're showing the whole story of the game in this game as if it were basically like a Naruto game or a One Piece version
Mhm.
where you have like multiple. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of hours, chat, of replayable gameplay for a story mode that takes you from the beginning of the game, the beginning of the anime and the manga to the end of it when Aizen went down, and then we follow it into the rise of the Quincy's. Like it shows you like over 300-ish, 400-ish episodes plus in a matter of probably several hours.
Mhm.
Other games and other IPs that did the same thing by animes and manga did this over the course of multiple game releases in order to try to make money, to tell that same story and improve on the interaction process each iteration that they put in the cycle for the IP. Whereas this one got it all right in one shot.
Exactly. Even though the game is unfinished, they still manage to like you can see the vision. Like I definitely know like Rebirth of Souls 2 definitely has to be a thing. It's definitely going to be a thing. But you can see the vision so clearly with this game, and I don't think there's too many people who will just say like I see what they're trying to do and I don't like it. Like the only thing I can say confidently is that I know like without if they add a no stocks mode, that'll definitely get a lot of people interested because like the stocks annoy the hell out of a lot of people. Which, as much as I love this game, I am one of those people. I just can't fucking stand stocks at all. Like it just feels so dumb to me. So if they were to add a no stocks mode in Rebirth 2 or just add it in this one, then yeah, I feel like the game would do a lot better. And on top of that, I also feel like if Rebirth of Souls 2 has like an open world story mode, like how Storm does, that would definitely make it sell a lot more because it allows you to explore the world of Bleach. Who doesn't want to explore like the world of the living, the Soul Society, Waco Mundo, so on and so forth. And
That
another
would
thing
be so connecting.
exactly, especially if you could like interact with NPCs and stuff like that, like they could really like do a lot with it with this game. And honestly, another thing I would like for them to add is factions. Like you can choose, like depending on which character you play, it shows what kind of ranks you get. Like for instance, if you play a Soul Reaper, then there's head captain. If you play like Quincy, then you can get all the way up to either Quincy King or Soul King. And if you play like a Gronkar, then or like any of the Waco Mundo characters, like the top rank could probably be like
Oh, whatever
King of
those like.
Waco Mundo.
Oh, like Louise and Barnes title.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I feel like if the devs like were to actually like start adding a lot of unique things, then this game will definitely be up there. Like I can see it selling a hell of a lot more if the devs start adding more things.
Right. Oh, actually, we did go over that part there. I was actually my next question was going to be basically like which social tools would most help the scene evolve, and I was going to think like maybe clans or replays or ranked ladders, but you actually
Yeah.
kind of just went over a lot of those details in depth that actually inadvertently answered that same question. Um, what are your hopes for new character additions or balance patches?
Honestly, what I hope is that the NPCs, not just like the like Soul Reaper or Squad 11 member or whatever, like characters like Yumi Chika and Yami get finished up and added into the roster as playable. Maybe also allow you to play as boss characters like either like offline and like in lobbies, like just keep them out of rank.
Fair
And
enough. Like how
yeah,
Xenoverse has a pivot between like boss
exactly,
rushing and stuff and rank. Okay, I got you.
exactly. And I would also like to see like uh m- missions modes similar, like yeah, more similar to how it was in Bleach Blade Battle, where it's like where you would just have like a bunch of challenges. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, slay X amount of hollows and so on and so forth.
That sounds like something from Soul Resurrection.
Uh, Could be, but I do know it was an Blade Battler second. It was a pretty entertaining game mode. And I definitely want to see more costumes. Like I kind of like there. Every time I hop on Bleach Brave Souls, there's like so many designs that I hope get added to Rebirth of Souls. Like that game has a lot of cool designs. So I hope they started adding more costumes. Even if you have to pay for them, honestly, a lot of them are worth it. But yeah, just more costumes. Finish up the characters that are unfinished. Add them, and then also obviously add more characters from the Thousand Year Blood War. The main characters I want from the Thousand Year Blood War are Asnod and Basby.
You see, it's a shared vision. And chat, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to also leave them down below in the comment section. Or if you even have any thoughts on what you would like to see added to the game, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Last question. What does Rebirth of Souls need to do differently from past anime game releases to maintain its momentum?
Honestly, just listen to the community and actually start engaging. Because it's one thing that I hate that a lot of anime game devs do is just remain completely silent until like they're ready to release something. Like I find that annoying. Like, there's a lot of questions and concerns the community has, and we don't like hear a peep from any of the devs. We know they're listening because the balance patches are like actually things that people want and people actually enjoy. Like, for instance, even with the new mechanic where you could cross up, you do your little flash combo, and then instantly flash step. Although that's annoying because I forget that it's in the game, it's still a nice addition. So as long as they just like start adding new stuff that the community is cool with and like actually listening to feedback, that's something that I think will help this game live long.
This is why it's always key to have a voice chat. No, don't ever think that not having an opinion or just being complacent also contributes to change. It contributes to stagnation. Being
Yeah.
vocal, being open, being cooperative and transparent about your feelings or your thoughts or how you feel about the game presently within reason help to create change for what you care about. Don't just accept what the company does willingly. Always try to speak up when something is wrong or amiss. Otherwise, they're just going to keep doing it. If they're not checked, just like anybody that we know in real life, if a person is not checked, then they're just going to keep doing dumb shit. And it's going to be okay because it's been established and trained that it's okay to keep doing this since there is no issue with this. Better communication, better marketing, better results, better comeback.
Exactly.
On that notion, chat, I leave you with this. What does the value of the game mean to you? What does Bleach Rebirth of Souls mean for you and to your transgressions going through the game, either as a casual, as a lore hunter, as a competitor, as a hardcore nut about like stuff that the game tries to go into and teach you compared to other arena fighters, and what this game also tries to take from base fighting games like your Guilty Gear Strives or your Tekkens or a little bit of Street Fighter in there. What does the value of Rebirth of Souls mean for you and your inclusion and engagement to the game? Alright, and that'll basically conclude today's podcast episode, going from the Space Bridge here into the Bleachverse for Bleach Rebirth of Souls for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. And so I want to take the time and energy to thank you for taking time out of your day in order to sit with me and we take a deep dive into the community's evolution over almost the past year in order to see how far it's come from then to the present day here in 2026.
No problem. I enjoyed myself.
Okay. Anybody you want us to raid?
I mean, sheesh. Nobody I really know is live streaming right now. So, does the chat have any questions, or that's it?
Alright, well, I'm seeing if I find somebody to raid. Alright, chat, you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns while I'm going through? I can see if we can still answer them while I'm going through with the raid. I like to play as Gerald, for real. How's it going? It's going good, bigger fish. Let me see whom is on the algorithm while I am going through to see who else is actually playing some Bleach while we're going through or is watching it. And I will leave you guys also with a special treat while we're going through. Alright, I see Nisix is on. I see Zyle. Alright, I see Nisix. Alright, my apologies, chat. I was trying to pull this up in the background in order to find somebody to raid. There's a few people to raid, actually, that don't really got the viewership going like that. So let's try and see if we can help bring them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to raid Zyle the Corrupted over here, who's having fun streaming the story. So we're going to go on ahead and delve into some Bleach story on that notion to close off our podcast. One of few that I aim to respectfully try to house here in the Bleach community. Let's go ahead and get ready to raid. As I pull this up, what's the name? Zyle the Corrupted.
Oh, he's just streaming the story mode. Very enjoyable experience.
Definitely. Alright, chat, if you guys hadn't already followed, I guess here, feel free to leave him a follow via Twitter here, X, whatever the fuck they want to call it these days. He posts a lot of really good tech in the Bleach community. Anything that's new or has yet to be discovered, eventually he'll probably try and find it and then make a nice little collage about it, or just post about it. Also, if you guys are in the mood for good memes and stuff in the anime culture of Twitter, hey, also feel free to follow the page. There's a lot of nice posts that go on around the scene, right? And this is at Entity Sama. Link will be down below. Also, I believe you also said you had a YouTube channel too?
Yeah. I did link my video and my most recent post. It should be right under the pinned one.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Alright, this will also be in the listed section down below along with the link to his channel. So if you guys want to definitely go ahead and leave him a follow, you guys definitely can, right? We're going to go on ahead and get ready to raid Zyle the Corrupted, and we're going to leave you at the Bleach campaign story for the afternoon. You guys take care, and as always, till all are one.
Later, chat.